Everything's rolling? Okay, hello, hi, this is the Monster after show, I suppose, is what we're doing here. And I got my good friend, co-host, Miss Zero Gravity, Zero G.
Hello.
What's up, Zero?
We are here sitting on the couch post Martin Monster show. Damn, we had a good one tonight, folks, didn't we?
There's a prom.
There was a prom.
There was a big prom, and we were in Brooklyn. You didn't even have to schlep all the way any place to go do this.
Wait, what are we talking about this in the past tense? There's a prom going on.
It's true.
There
The prom
right now.
is happening right now.
Right now.
We are staying away from any of the work by staying in here away and doing what we do.
I deserve to stay away from the punch bowl. I've had a night. I've seen too much of that punch bowl, so I'm going to sit my ass right here, and enjoy this post-show.
Yeah. So, Zero, just real, as we get into this, I know you've been to a couple of Martin Monster shows now, and you had a big active role in this one as our Valecryptorian, which, couldn't have done any better.
That's correct.
What did you think of the show? How'd you feel about, being a part of it this time?
This was great. This was an absolute freaking hoot. We have some pros behind the line running production with the lights and the fans. And y'all, I mean the fans, okay? With the added effect, it was great. It was great. Everything was on point. The audience was giving exactly what it should give. There's a difference, right? Like, we go to the movies for one thing. We go to the movies to escape and get in our heads and be alone and have that good time with ourselves. But this is something different, right? So this is when we really want the community and the commentary. This is where the commentary is welcome. Not so much in the theater, but the Martin Monster fans, they know what they set out to do, and this was a great time.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of talk back. The vibe. You don't even have to give people rules. The people know what they're doing here. Did you know this movie? Have you seen this movie before?
I have seen this movie before, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Martin. I felt some type of way about it, but after watching it in the theater with the rest of the Martin Monster gang, I think I might have changed my mind.
I mean, that's it. I mean, any bad movie you could have a good experience with.
Right.
That's kind of the way. And you're a professional moviegoer. You must know all about this.
I guess I could be a professional moviegoer. Sure.
Just tell me a little bit about the Some Kind of Way. That you felt before tonight.
Just perplexed.
Uh-huh.
I guess perplexed is a good way to put it. Just a little disappointed, a little confused, a little frustrated, but the frustrations is really what makes this type of shindig really work, because everyone's frustrated with you, and that when that comes up, now it's just kind of like a talking point. It's a laughing point. Somebody in the back has got some commentary that he's gonna love to spit, and it just makes the experience so much better. These are the type of movies that you need to watch with friends.
Right. It's different. You're watching this movie alone in your house on a DVD or whatever. Yeah, you're gonna have probably like, what the hell? If you're gonna feel some kind of way about it, as you say.
Exactly, some type of way, not the good way, not the good way at all.
All right, you want to bring on one of our fiendish guests here? Why don't you introduce?
So today with us on the Martin Monster Post Show, we have Jackie
from
Terra Nova Podcast, also who we just crowned as the Prom Scream.
We have our Prom Scream.
Prom Scream here.
Get right in here. You can put these on.
Miss Jackie from Terra Nova.
You know how podcasts work.
Yeah. you know damn well how podcasts work.
Yep.
Stay as close as you can because we got a giant prom happening out here, which is ridiculous. Well, congratulations on being our Prom Scream. Prom Scream, way better than our thing. I know him. It's okay. I could say, but fantastic. Is this the greatest honor of your life?
You know what? It kind of is. I'm surprised blood did not fall on me. I'm not mad about it, but could have been nice.
We're working on the production. It's a lot to clean up. All that. But have you seen this movie before?
I have not. I've seen the first film. The first one I saw. Remember this? Well, this was actually a first experience for me, and it's very interesting because me being with the podcast, with Terra Nova Podcast, we tend to do a lot of films that are kind of obscure. Kendall, I'm talking to you. But this was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
It was a mixture of like supernatural, paranormal, slasher, revenge. possession, body horror, gore. Like, it was definitely a lot, but it was also very entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed it for what it was.
A charcuterie, if you will.
Yeah.
Whoa, charcuterie.
I like that word.
Now we're getting.
Fancy.
So I know you guys know each other well. Can you just tell us a little bit about the Terra Nova podcast?
Yes. So Terra Nova podcast is a horror podcast that Kendall, my co-host, and I started. It kind of started in the height of the pandemic. So we both were like not working. We were like, what do we do? Kendall randomly was like, hey, do you want to do a podcast with me? And I'm like, okay, why not? And he was just like, I just can't think of anyone else doing it besides you, because even in college, Kendall and I went to college together. So we've been friends for X amount of years. We used to watch horror movies on Skype together.
Uh-huh.
Like back in the day.
That's
we used
a
to always...
I've heard of Skype.
Yes, I'm revealing our
I ain't
age.
feeling so old anymore.
So like it started from there. We just started doing recording. At first, our first for audio was like through Zoom, because we had no idea what the hell we were doing. But now, like, we're about to make 4 years this year with the podcast.
Congrats,
Thank you.
yeah.
And
That's hard to do.
It is, but we love it. We love it.
And what's like the focus, like horror, but like what's kind of the main?
So the main focus for Terra Nova podcast is that yes, we talk about horror, versus movies or shows or even anime or even video games. But our whole premise is that we tend to talk about the social commentary of horror, because horror in general is all about social commentary. Like we talk about the history of it, the writing of it, the special effects, but also the deep root of it, the fact that horror is everything. And we've done films that people might be like, oh, that's not really scary, but there's horror is for everything. There's a horror movie for everybody who's scared of something. And that's basically what our premise is. Our whole purpose of doing the podcast is to talk about why we like these films, the message behind it, what's the deep root of it, and all the stuff. So
Period, Pooh.
Well, I mean, what do you guys think the social commentary was on Hello Mary Lou Prom Night II?
Girl,
I'll leave it to you guys.
social.
If you guys got something to say.
I could try my best to tell you about the social commentary of Prom Night II, but it would be a mighty reach. A mighty, mighty, mighty reach. But one thing I can say is that I do appreciate the diverse forms of antagonism in this film. It was pretty cool. I watched this film once before. Like I said, it wasn't giving what it was giving, but it's definitely giving a little bit more with the audience aspect. And tonight was the first time that I really noticed that Mary Lou is kind of a bisexual icon.
Yeah.
Like that one shower scene was, let's be real, homegirl was really threatened by her sexual energy. Because I'm going to be real with you, she wasn't that scary in that scene. But what Martin said in the post-show break, it's a little bit of homophobia jumping out.
Oh yeah.
With the full frontal.
Oh yeah.
nudity
Well,
and
that whole
everything.
scene too is so weird because like she's running from her like she's gonna be murdered, right? She's like,
Right.
stop, and like she didn't like do anything. She didn't like stab her or do that. She just tried to kiss her. I know it was weird, but that's like a super gay panic, right? Like just like holy shit, somebody tried to be gay with me. I gotta like they're trying to murder me, or I don't think that's what they were going for. But like there seems like something might have been missing there, but
Nah,
very strange.
It's definitely not the origin in which this scene is coming from. But
Right.
as a fellow bisexual, delusional bisexual at that, I appreciate having a bisexual icon who's playing both sides. Not only is she down with both sides, but she's also an equal opportunity murderer.
Right.
And I love that.
And she is, and I guess, social commentary, but like, there's a lot of slut shaming, right? Mary Lou's not a bad person. She's just, whatever, she morally gray, but like clearly killed because she's a goer and like persecuted for it, like that's commentary that we can look back at, with a modern lens, right? Of like that was super normal. Nobody thought twice about that in the 80s or the 50s, but yeah, I that's one of the reasons I dig the movie. There is different reads you can put on it in a modern lens, where it might not be that deep. Intent.
Yeah.
Intent is different than, consumption, right?
I mean, definitely also the religious trauma to it too.
Oh,
Like, that whole thing, I was
say
like,
that.
I felt that hit close to home. But again, like the whole religious part of it,
Yeah.
pray for your sins. You're doing this, and her being like, oh, I gotta pray for my sins. I'm thinking sinful things with my boyfriend. Oh my God, blah blah. Like, and it was just like, where have I seen this before? Oh yeah, every movie where it deals with like a young girl discovering herself, and it's always tied to something sinful, something, you know, again, we see that all the time in horror movies.
Right.
Yeah,
especially when there's a female character, like, you know, what Carrie did it so well in other films, where it's like religion is used to like to shame women for like, I'm having these, oh my god, these lustful thoughts, I'm possessed or something. It's just like, relax.
And and it is a very female movie. I think most of the main characters are women, and several of the victims too. You know, I like the scene in the bathroom where the girl tells the other girl that she's pregnant. It's just like, it's weird at first, you don't know what's happening, and then it's like one really long tracking shot, and it's like, it's a woman being a friend to another woman, right? Like being there, and it's like, it's almost a thoughtful. There's several scenes in this that feel out of place with the movie, but like that's one of the joys of it, I think. But there's some decent representation there, you know, of the time, right? You know, there's both the antagonist and the protagonist are both women, and several characters. So there's that.
There's definitely, and you know, I want to put a little bit of focus on having a female antagonist, because I think, you know, this is the 80s, right? But here in 2024, I think we are very deserving of a female antagonist that, you know, maybe even, okay, let's be real with it. Mary Lou, she was wronged. She didn't deserve what she had going on back in the 50s. Not a bit. Not a damn bit. But, however, I think I would like to see an unhinged antagonist. This is a good start, definitely. But, you know, I support women's rights, but I also support women's wrongs.
Yeah.
Okay?
For sure.
So I want to see some chaos, and
Definitely,
this is a good place to start.
Yeah.
And definitely, as we're talking the 80s, women slashers still highly underrepresented. Like, you know, like women can be evil, I'm pretty sure. But it's always evil in a different way when there's an evil woman in a movie, right? They never just, you know, slashing people up, just, you know, that sort of a thing.
Right.
But it definitely, that's, I think, one of the reasons the movie has been reappraised a bit, because it is a female antagonist slasher kind of the era. There's not too many in the 80s, you know.
Definitely.
And still, right? I don't know.
No, it's definitely true. Like, I know one time we did have an episode about the feminism in horror movies and how, like, how you view female people. Like, you know, again, with the slasher, we all know with slasher, when you're getting stabbed, phallic symbol, you know, we're shaming from women for having sexual needs, desires. Oh my gosh, she's having sex, she's a harlot, let's kill her, let's slash her. Yeah. And it's nice. It's like, I guess, relieving to see a revenge film in that type of way, where it's just like, yeah, I went through shit, they did this to me, I'm gonna possess this girl, and I'm gonna get my dues. Yeah. I'm gonna get it. You're gonna pay for it now.
And she wins, right? Like at the end, you know, it's kind of a dark ending, which I like, you know.
Yeah.
Because she deserved her revenge. Fuck them.
She sure did.
She did.
All right, we'll see. Maybe there'll be a Prom Night 3. You know, we can we can bring Mary Lou back again.
I would honestly love to see it. I would.
Absolutely. It's gonna be up to us to make it, I think.
Yeah.
All right, so where do we find the Terra Nova podcast? What do we do?
You can find us on Instagram on TerraNova_pod. We are on Spotify as well, Apple Podcasts, Google, basically anywhere you could listen to a podcast. We are available on Terra Nova podcast, a horror podcast, literally what we call it. And yeah, again, we are about to make 4 years in a couple months. I cannot believe it. We're still here.
Golf claps for that.
You know, we love what we do. We make this content, you know, for our followers, for you guys who love horror movies and shows, and we're always open for recommendations. Hey, our DMs are always open. So if you guys have a recommendation, like, hey, can you do this movie or can you do that movie, or like, hey, you were like, hey, I want to be a guest on this, we're always open to that. We're always open to that. We love it. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Terra Nova. Okay. Anything else, Zero G for?
Jackie, tell them real quick about this new Paranormal Activity episode that y'all got coming out.
Oh, yes. So, we recorded Paranormal Activity. We talked about the franchise with, you know, my wife over here. And so the first Tuesday of June, watch out for that. You get to hear us talk about that, the franchise, and you get to hear this beautiful woman here next to me and talk about it. And yeah.
Tune in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Excellent teaser. All right, get out of here.
All right,
Scram.
All right, let me go before I, throw blood on myself.
I'm sorry, we couldn't provide the pig blood for you.
It's okay.
Next time I got you, I promise.
No.
That's one thing I want to say about prom night. Bring back Scram. Like,
Oh
scram!
yeah, scram.
Get out of here, scram! Let's bring it back. 2024. Let's
It's
bring
funny. Those got some of the best laughs, like her or the old-fashioned sayings and stuff. Scram. That's definitely. All right, we got somebody else you want to bring up?
We do.
All right.
We do.
This,
Now,
this guy right here.
this fine young man right here.
Give us the intro.
Over at the prom, we have Mr. Justin Lockwood.
Sneak in here.
Formerly read at Bloody Disgusting, but also if you are a tri-state area native, you could probably find him at Brain Damage Trivia over at Rock Bar in the West Village.
That's
Feel
right.
free. Get as close as you can. We're a
Okay.
little.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a little. We
Welcome
apologize
in.
for the crudity of this.
Little taller than
Apology
us,
for the
guys,
crudity
so
of
that's
this-
all
of this
right.
model.
That's all right. You do what you can, you know.
Welcome in.
How you doing,
welcome in.
Justin? Thanks for being here.
I'm good. I'm really good.
Are you represented?
As you can see, I'm wearing my Hello Mary Lou Prom Night II
Come
T-shirt by
on.
Poltergeist and
Come
Paramours
on.
because I freaking love this movie. So, am I allowed to say frickin'?
Yeah, you can say
Well,
whatever you want. Say whatever you want. You saw that movie, right?
Come on, baby. There was incest in there. You could drop a.
I've seen this movie many times, many times, and it's just wonderful.
When did you see it for the first
It's
time,
wonderful.
Justin?
Probably we're probably talking 11 or 12 because it was one that my
You're a
dad
kid.
introduced me
Oh,
to.
man.
On VHS?
On VHS, and the thing he probably told me before I even started watching, but he's like, "There's this rocking horse, and the tongue comes out and like licks her face, like so."
That's the part.
It's amazing. It's just everything about it. It's campy. It's funny. There's like great special effects. Like there's a lot going on.
It's interesting. I have, I think people have a nostalgia for it when they're kids, and then there are some modern reads of it. It definitely has. Have you noticed that people? I didn't think anybody knew this movie for a long time. If it was kind of lost.
Yeah.
Even still, I think like the version on Shudder is like an SD quality. Like there hasn't been like a HD up convert of it. Or
It's
anything.
kind of shocking, and no one's done like a Scream Factory 8 million
Right.
extras. I feel like that's coming.
I
but
think
not
it's
yet.
coming because the
Yeah.
crew. But like, have you noticed like it gaining more popularity? It's seeming in the culture.
Well, I was telling Xero out there that my first appearance in print for Fangoria was a beautifully illustrated Mary Lou cover because they interviewed Ron Oliver, the screenwriter, about the movie and like the queerness of the movie and all these things, and it was like so exciting to me because I'm like, I get to be in the Mary Lou issue, like this is great, you know.
That's
'cause
right.
I was excited to read that, but yeah.
Now you're at the Mary Lou
getting-
prom.
I know. I'm at the Mary Lou Prom.
Look at you.
Man. It's
Full
pretty
circle,
rad.
baby.
It's
Full
pretty
circle.
rad. It's a nice moment.
I never thought such a thing would
Yeah.
exist. A night celebrating Mary Lou.
You did a nice job with it.
Well,
I caught the little details. It was cool.
Mary Lou. I'd go to prom with Mary Lou, no problem. We'd have
I
a
don't
fine
think,
old
like
time.
seriously, it doesn't matter what your persuasion is. You want to go to the prom with Mary Lou. Like she's just like a force of nature, right? Like I'm going
Absolutely.
to prom with her. Like
Absolutely. So Justin, tell us a little bit about where we can find you and what you do.
So I'm a freelance writer, and I've done work for Fangoria and Bloody Disgusting and Scream Magazine out of the UK. I just did a cover story on the Return of the Living Dead franchise for them, their most recent issue. And I co-host a horror trivia at Rock Bar in the West Village every month called Brain Damage with Colma White, who is a drag queen.
Yes.
Who adores horror and knows like more than I do about all kinds of crazy underground New York City movies. And we have a lot of fun with that. It's like a celebration of horror. It's a celebration of the queer horror community. It's a good time.
Coma White's awesome. I know Coma White. Yeah, that's great.
She really is.
And
we're gonna get Coma White on this couch one of these days.
for
Yes.
sure,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think we're gonna get a lot of
definitely.
people on this couch. I think is the goal.
Yeah.
We're trying out the couch today. See how it works.
Cool.
How does it feel? Does it feel all right?
I like it. I like it.
Me and Xero are gonna jump you.
You got a Gregoraki poster here. I'm digging
Listen,
it.
I got this Elvira dagger. I don't know if you saw it when I was on stage, but like I'm packing,
Oh,
so
come
don't
on, I
don't
clocked that
say the
outfit
wrong thing.
immediately. Like a gay
you.
man's not going to see an Elvira outfit and know within like a millisecond.
You
what it
already
is.
know.
So
Elvira's got everybody covered. Gay men, straight men, gay women, everybody.
Everybody.
is all
It's true.
about
Everybody under the
Elvira.
sun.
Everybody came of age with Elvira.
and then she came out.
Amazing.
And it was
What
like,
a
it was the
baller
fulfillment of
move.
Every prophecy.
Yeah,
It
you're
was
like,
so
yes!
cool.
And then I'm just like, and then just decades of like teenagers, boys drooling over her. It puts it all in such different perspective too. And like,
Yeah,
she's a
it
gay
really
woman the
does.
whole time.
The whole time. Listen,
Not that it,
let me tell you this story. Let me tell you about this story about my friend Chuck. Chuck. Okay, so I have a friend. His name is Chuck, and he works at the recycling center, aka the dump, near my parents' house. And Chuck is a huge horror fan. So every time I have to, throw out something, I don't know, we have a little chit chat or whatever. And this man loves Elvira to fucking death. He has one of those like the sun screen things on his car, and it's just Elvira. Like his car seats, the covers are Elvira.
Whoa.
Love it.
He goes to Monster Mania, Connecticut, Horror Fest, all the local East Coast festivals to see Elvira, and he's at the point where he's on a first name basis where he says hello Elvira, he says hello Chuck.
All right.
Hello, Chuck.
All right.
She's
Love
under
it.
everybody's spell. Everybody's
I love
spell.
it. That's
I thought you were
awesome.
going to be like, then she came out and he was like, screw her,
No, it's even better.
Good.
It's even better now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, I'm like, of course, good for you, Elvira. Thank you, thank God. She is a treasure. I don't know if she's still doing. I don't think she hasn't done the costume in a while. I think she's
I think
finally
she might have
retired
retired, like the
Yeah.
makeup and stuff like that. but-
Right.
She shouldn't.
Yeah.
Every time I've seen her do it, she's amazing.
I would love to see her put the gown on one more time just to talk about Prom Night 2 because I would really love to know what Elvira thinks about this
Right.
movie. I would love it.
Like, how does she not have a show on all the time? I mean, I guess she has kind of put it behind her, but she was
had
on
a
Shudder
special
just
kinda recently.
just a
That
few
was
years
fun.
ago,
That was really fun,
and she was
yeah.
great, and she looked amazing.
Well, I do have to shout out. I'm wearing my Joe Bob Briggs socks tonight, and they did an episode of his show on Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2.
Yes.
And he loves it, and Darcy loves it, and John Brennan, who's her house musician, did a great song called Hello Mary Lou.
think I
It's
saw that
Prom Night
episode.
2. So anyway, yeah, I'm glad that somebody.
I
did
think
a
I got
episode on it.
I think I have Return of the Living Dead socks.
No way.
Now that you mention it,
Oh,
No
yeah.
way. Is
Yep,
that
looks like
Tarman?
I got,
It
Tar-
is.
I got Tarman socks.
Yeah.
Representing.
I love
Man,
it.
what the
I
fuck?
love it.
Next
You got
time
where's
we
your
have-
socks?
Damn, I
love
just
it.
got regular girl socks on. Fuck, if I known.
You're representing spooky other ways. That's
Listen,
that's
I had the
fine.
dagger.
Exactly.
Okay?
What about your
I tried
drawers?
my
You got maybe you say you got horror drawers on.
I got Event Horizon draws on right now.
That'd be so good.
I don't know why that was so funny.
That's the best reference. This is why I love you, Xero. This is why you're on this couch with me.
God.
All right, Justin. Any place where we could find you if the people are interested in finding you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Hey Lockwood, and you can find me on Twitter, which I'm not going to call anything else because that's stupid, at Hey Lockwood, and I link a lot
And
of my
occasionally
stuff there.
Awesome freelance articles
And
popping
the
up.
Scream magazine issue may still be in U.S. stores right now, in Barnes and Noble and
Okay.
stuff. So look for Tarman.
International, baby.
Yeah, I do what I can.
Okay,
so.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah.
All right, Justin. Thanks so much.
Thank
We're
you,
gonna wrap
guys.
it up
Thank
in a
you very
moment.
much.
Really appreciate you jumping in here. Sounds like that prom is winding down out there, Xero.
Sure does.
Definitely seems quiet.
Sounds like the punch bowl is empty.
Seems like it might be up to us to keep that party going. This is what happens when we leave, Xero. Everybody dies. Well, maybe we'll keep it going all night ourselves. What do you got? What do you got coming up, Xero?
Well, at the time of recording, next weekend we will be back here for Kaiju Brooklyn,
Right.
which is really excited. I'm going to be covering the con for horrorpress.com. I've got some really great interviews lined up. I'm really excited to watch you and Ames host the
Can't wait.
cosplay competition. The cosplay competition, no matter what type of fandom nerdy event that you're at, it's always a great place to get that, I want to say 100, 150 cc's of just fandom, of just community, of just everything. That's where the real ones really show their pride for fandom. And, I sell horror, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing that I sell to people. I sell horror, I guess would be the cover story, right? But in reality, I do sell community. I'm addicted to community. I love fandom. I love when people are able to get together in one room and just do the damn thing. And that's how you really see it. So I'm a little bit new to the kaiju fandom myself. I think I really only got into Godzilla, that type of stuff, maybe 5-6 years ago now, but I know where to find the good stuff. I know where to get my fix. And that is where the cosplay competition is going to pull up. And, poses are going to be a big thing in the cosplay competition, which is, I know is big if you're into kaiju, that kind of This
Oh
is a podcast.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm talking about.
The like Ultraman.
Oh,
Yeah, they do a lot of. There's a lot of poses.
That
yes,
kind of stuff.
indeed.
So very excited for that. I know that you will also be here, Mr. Martin Monster.
Yeah, I
co-hosting.
can't wait to see Ames and work with her and to see the crazy cosplay that comes up. Like last year, we did Kaiju Brooklyn here, and it was cool, but like we didn't get to ramp it up as much. But this time, a lot of publicity. Everybody's going to be coming. You know, there was very little cosplay last time. It was colder, but now we're doing it. It should be really nice.
It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a blast.
That's great. And then where do we find you? You know, on the normal webs.
On the normal webs, y'all can find me. All of my handles are at XG Horror. Those are my initials. My name is Zero Gravity. XG Horror. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Letterboxd. You know, I'm a little bit of a hoe for Letterboxd. I'm nosy and I want to know what you're watching and I want to know your thoughts.
Okay.
So hit me on Letterboxd, all that type of stuff. I'm also on another podcast in addition to this one called Blurty Massacre, and that's wherever you can get your podcast fix at Blurty Massacre. And I'm just that one girl on the internet that won't shut up. So I'm doing my best. Baby.
I saw you on Letterboxd. I know you just were away and did like a zombie-thon. And I believe you said you were having some kind of feelings about the Night of the Living Dead remake, which you had some feelings
There
about.
goes Martin Monster. Put me on the spot, y'all. Put me
I don't want to blow up.
spot.
I don't want to blow up your own podcast content. You know.
That's totally fine.
Have you seen before?
I have seen it before, and I liked it the first time I saw it. This is my second time screening it only a couple days ago. The first time I saw it, I did like it. How could you not like Tony Todd? Right?
Sure,
Everyone loves Tony
great.
Todd. Everyone. So here's the thing. So this year, as many of us horror fans know, is the 45th anniversary of Dawn of the Dead. Okay, my personal favorite in all of the Romero sphere, personally. So my friends and I, Ames included, the rest of the prom committee that we saw on stage just tonight, Damien, Stitch, Bat, and Ames, the four of us went up to Connecticut for this triple feature. We did a triple feature. We saw Night of the Living Dead classic, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. We did it all in one sitting. It was fantastic.
Right.
And now fast forward to this past weekend, Ames and I took a trip down to the Poconos to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. It was our first time.
Famous.
It was great. If there's any horror fans, well, I'm sure you're all
Yeah.
horror fans listening to this right now, but I would recommend it if you've never been before. So we started out with Night of the Living Dead remake, which was my first time seeing it since my initial watch, and I think my feelings about it had changed only because I had seen the original so close to it.
I see. Sure.
You know what
Sure.
I mean? So because I watched the two of them so close, I kind of had no choice but to compare and contrast. If I were to put a pause on that and watch it maybe 3 to 6 months from now, I probably would still love it all the same. But because I'm putting them right up against each other, I'm like, I don't know, man. I love Barbara.
Yeah.
I love the queerification of Barbara. She got her lesbian haircut.
Yeah.
It's definitely making me feel seen. But everything else, I don't know.
Yeah, it's I've always been partial to it. It's I think a little underappreciated, but it's not the original movie. It is, I like the gayification or what you say, and she was like Sarah Connor, at the time, pretty much like she's badass. Barbara in the original is pretty useless, right? She's not really even in it. Like she cries for a while and then they yank her through a window, right?
That's it.
And Tony Todd is amazing, I think, and I think it plays very similar. But the ending is obviously very different. The original, obviously, much more powerful. But I understand why they changed it too, because everybody would be waiting for it, right?
Right.
But the gore, I love. Tom Savini, right, directed it, which is pretty cool.
Gotta love Tom Savini.
And he's talked about editing up, but I think it gets a bad rap sometimes. But you just got to watch it as its own thing, right?
Yes.
I mean, this is how I feel about the Dawn of the Dead remake. I don't really like that one because I'm such a fan of the original, the Zack Snyder one, which I was like, it's fast zombies. I'm like, now you're just going everything.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Let's run that back
Yeah.
real quick.
Sure.
It's the original that you're doing?
No, I love the original Dawn of the Dead. I'm not a
it's
big fan of Zack
Zack Snyder.
Snyder's
Okay.
remake.
All right, got it.
That one. But then I'm like, this is nothing almost like the original. At least the Night of the Living Dead remake, I'm like, this is obviously clearly a remake. But there's been so many. If you really want to say every zombie movie ever is pretty much a remake of Night of the
That's
Living
true.
Dead. Romero totally screwed on royalties forever.
Right.
Created a whole subgenre. But
That's
Tony
for sure.
Todd as the lead in Night of the Living Dead is kind of awesome, and the supporting cast is pretty good too. But I get you feeling some kind of way about it,
yeah.
It's like you got to just kind of look at it as its own thing. Was there anything else screened with it? Or was it just it was a double feature at the drive-in?
We actually did a triple feature again, which we went up to do the triple feature initially at the Strand Theater in Seymour, Connecticut. We did that first three, the trilogy, Romero trilogy. Then Ames and I went down to the Mahoning for another trilogy. Right after I said, "Man, I don't think I can do another trilogy."
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's tough.
I love a double feature, and I love pairing films up against each other. But 3 movies in a row in one position,
It's tough.
Is really, really tough.
Unless you're in I've done some of them at like Alamo Draft Houses. They got like nice recliners and stuff, and they keep bringing you food. You got to do it in the right way. But like sitting in a
That's
thing,
a different story. And also, mind you, this is a drive-in, so we're stuck in the
just
car.
in the car, yeah.
So we started with Night of the Living Dead remake, then moved on to Creepshow, which was great.
Okay, I did see you post
And
that.
that was actually my first time watching Creepshow. I've never seen Creepshow
Oh, wow.
before, which there goes my horror card.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
it goes.
Yeah.
But I loved it. Creepshow was great. And then we finished off with Tales from the Dark Side.
The movie.
Yes,
Ah,
the
excellent,
movie. Yeah.
excellent. How'd you feel about that? Yeah. It's. I mean, it's uneven. Yeah. You felt great.
You know what I'm saying? I had a great time.
I
Beautiful
love
gowns.
the one, the segments with the gargoyle, and it's Ray Dawn Chong, I think, is the she's
Yes,
beautiful.
it is.
She's beautiful
Gorgeous.
still today as she was 40 years ago. Tommy Chong's daughter, and that segment I think is great. And I remember watching it the first time, and the twist at the end, I was like, oh, it's such a great twist, like, oh my God, what did you do, dude? You said don't tell anybody. And she's like, you promised you would never tell. I love it. I don't really remember too much of the other one. Christian Slater, I think, fights a mummy, and there's a cat thing. Buster Poindexter and a cat, I think, I guess I remember everything. And the music.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right, Xero. I think we did it all.
All right.
I think we did everything. I wouldn't mind seeing you on this couch again. Maybe this becomes a thing.
I think it might be
the
a
Martin
thing.
Monster after show.
I do think so. What's going to be the next Martin Monster show?
We're gonna do the movie Cat's Eye from 1983. Stephen King. It's anthology. And we're theming that because we have an artist that's going to be here named Concrete Iris, and he does super duper close up pictures of people's eyeballs. Like he does, takes a real close picture of it, and he blows it up and has art. So there's going to be an art show in the space for the whole month of June, showcasing his art. And we figured we'd tie in with that. So since there'll be all eyeballs on the wall, we tried to find an eye-centric movie. It's hard to find, but Cat's Eye will work. It's anthology based, and there'll be breaks in. And we'll try to tie it into eyeball things. So think about eyeball stuff.
I love that.
And we'll get a picture of your eyes for sure.
Yeah, of my corneas or whatever you call it.
That's right.
Stitchbat, actually, part of the prom committee tonight, he gifted me at my birthday back in January a prosthetic eye that's turned into a necklace. So I will definitely be wearing that one out. But I'm also just thinking about Zombie 2 right now. You know what I'm talking about?
For sure.
Oh,
For sure.
yeah.
There's always a fine line with figuring out the Martin Monster show and how to do it. Like, how crazy do we want to be? Like in some of those movies I love, but I'm like, who the audience is going to be in here? It's a little bit entry. Like we're trying to provide entryway and how gory we want to be, for certain things, but we're ramping up to it, So we're easing folks into it, and then maybe we'll get into some weird midnight showings. So I was like, there's all sorts of movies where people get stabbed in the eyeball, or lots of Italian horror, where things like that. But I was like,
good stuff.
But we got Cat's Eye.
I'm looking forward to it.
That's what we're going to do. All right. This one, I'm going to talk to this one. That's it for the Martin Monster after show. Thank you to Zero Gravity. Thanks to our guest. And maybe we'll see you again.
Yeah, have a good summer. Hope you enjoyed your prom, everyone.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.